All right, welcome to tonight's feature presentation. This is a true epic, you guys. It's the story of how two brothers from this really quiet corner of rural Ireland somehow managed to rewire the entire global economy. Seriously, this isn't just about a company, it's about an invisible empire built on lines of code. And our story begins, like all great stories do, with a flash of lightning.
So let's set the scene. Picture this. Lightning forking over a dark Irish sky. You've got a teenage kid in Tipperary just tapping away furiously at a keyboard, the only light in the room coming from his monitor. That kid, that's our protagonist, Patrick Collison.
You see, before he was a CEO, Patrick was, well, a prodigy. We're talking about someone who was just so clearly destined for something huge, operating on a completely different wavelength from, everyone else. I mean, just look at this timeline. It shows you the sheer speed of his ambition. At 13, he's acing the American SATs. By 16, he's not just coding, he's literally creating his own programming language, which wins him the title of Ireland's top young scientist. And then bam, by 17, he's on a plane to America to go to MIT. The trajectory was just undeniable.
So now our story moves to America. This is where all that raw ambition smacks right into opportunity. And it's where Patrick and his younger brother John face their first massive test, a choice that's going to define their entire future.
So this is it. The decision that changed absolutely everything. On one side, you have the safe path, right? Get those fancy degrees from MIT and Harvard. On the other side, the founder's path. Drop out, jump into the crazy intense startup accelerator Y Combinator with their first idea, Auctomatic. They chose the risk. And what really pushed them to take that leap? Good old-fashioned rejection. Back home in Ireland, they'd asked for some government funding for their dream. The answer they got? A flat no. That single no from their home country was basically the catalyst that sent them packing for California. And you know what? Their bet paid off. Big time. Their first company, Auctomatic, was acquired for a cool $5 million. This made the Collison brothers millionaires before Patrick was even legally old enough to rent a car in the United States. They hadn't just made it. Oh no, they were just getting started. But that was just Act 1. See, the money wasn't really the point. There was this deep frustration brewing inside them, this feeling that a really fundamental piece of the internet was just broken. And that frustration, it would spark a truly revolutionary idea. This was the central challenge they saw. Back then, trying to accept payments online was a total nightmare. We're talking endless paperwork, merchant accounts, all this bureaucracy. It honestly felt like the system was designed to punish entrepreneurs. So how could they possibly fix something so fundamentally broken? The answer, the very core of their super elegant solution, came down to this one deceptively simple number: 7. And this was their invention, the Stripe API. Now, think of an API as like a universal adapter for the internet. Instead of months of paperwork and painful talks with banks, they created a tool that let any developer just plug in to the global payment system in minutes, and they could do it with just 7 lines of code. It was pure genius. Okay, now for the climactic scene. Picture this, 2 20-something Irish dropouts pitching their big idea to the very titans who built the first wave of the internet, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, the original PayPal mafia. They had to convince these legends that online payments was still a broken mess, and that they, 2 kids from Ireland, were the ones to fix it. And they did it. After locking down $2 million in funding from that very meeting, Stripe's code just started to spread like wildfire. This is the montage sequence of our story, where their little idea becomes the invisible engine powering the entire startup world. I mean, just look at this list. Lyft, Shopify, Facebook, DoorDash, Google, Zoom, all of these iconic companies and thousands more were built on Stripe's rails. It literally became the internet's invisible bloodstream, just quietly moving money all around the globe. And the result? Just an absolute explosion in value. From that small first company to a global powerhouse, Stripe's success made Patrick and John the world's youngest self-made billionaire brothers. But again, for them, it was never ever just about the money. To really get what they're about, you have to look at their mission. When Patrick Collison talks about Stripe, he's not talking about processing payments. No, he talks about increasing the GDP of the internet. Their ambition was never just to build a company. It was to build an entire economy. Which brings us to our final act. Now that they've built this incredibly powerful engine, the brothers are using it to tackle some of society's most fundamental and difficult challenges, moving way beyond just payments.
They're applying that Stripe mindset, speed, efficiency, elegant solutions, to totally new frontiers. During the pandemic, they helped create something called Fast Grants, which cut through all the red tape to get money to COVID scientists in weeks, not years. They launched the ARC Institute to speed up bioscience research, and right now, their infrastructure is quietly becoming the financial plumbing for the entire AI revolution.
The takeaway from their story is it's profound. It all started with a kid in front of a computer in rural Ireland, and it became this massive, invisible empire. It leaves us with a final, really provocative thought. If two brothers can actually rewire the global economy with just a few lines of code, what other problems that we all think are unsolvable are just sitting there, waiting for the right person and the right idea?